What's going on, guys? Welcome in. I am Kadarius Washington, and this is the Women's Basketball Rundown. It is a pleasure to have you in as always, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell to be notified of when I post again. And also follow me on Twitter and on Bluesky at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports. Now, listen, folks, I meant to come on here earlier this week right after WNBA Training Camp opened up. But for those of you who are in college or you were in college or you have college experience, as you may know, this week is indeed finals week. Of course, over these last couple of weeks, this week and next week. And even though thankfully I don't have final exams, I do have final assignments, if you know what I mean, those final projects. So those have kind of been, kind of big as you would expect anyway, and that's been tying up a lot of my time. But we've only got a couple weeks left of this spring semester, and then after next week, I'm going to be posting sports rundowns and women's basketball rundowns like you wouldn't believe. So please stay tuned for that. All right. We have a loaded show for you today, as I think I already said, and only one place to start, and that is the WNBA, as training camp opened up on Sunday. And a kind of a difficult thing too with the WNBA with their roster sizes is, of course, the waiver watch and players getting cut as far as that's concerned. And our good friends at Ball Knowers on Bluesky, at Ball Knowers on Bluesky, they released their waiver watch as far as training camp rosters are concerned, and I'm going to review that for you as we get you going here today. So for the Dallas Wings, they have on their waiver watch Kayla Charles, Aaronette Vonleh, JJ Quinterly, and Mai Yamamoto. I think it's pretty safe to say that Beckers and Isaiah James are going to be safe as far as the Dallas Wings roster is concerned. And I think Madison Scott from out of Ole Miss, she's going to be safe too. And honestly, from this list, I mean, I kind of like Winterly to make the roster too, but I think Aaronette Vonleh, the rookie, the other rookie, I think she might be the odd one out because this is a Wings team that's a very guard heavy team. And I think Aaronette Vonleh, of course, being a center and her style of play, I think it might be the odd situation out. So we might see her go as far as that's concerned. And then for the Los Angeles Sparks, they have on their waiver watch Shanice Swain, Masha Klendikova, Alyssa Utsby, and Anelli Maley. And it's kind of unfortunate for Utsby because I thought she would get drafted, but it was good to see that she got a training camp contract. So that's another situation there that I'm monitoring. The Seattle Storm, they have on their waiver watch Mackenzie Holmes, Zaya Cook, Jordan Hobbs, and Brianna Frazier. And a little interesting situation going on with the Seattle Storm as well, as Dominique Belonga, the second overall pick, so far has not been to training camp. And as of this very moment, there's no timetable on, nobody knows when she's going to appear. So that's going to be a situation that we're going to have to monitor as we go forward. And the New York Liberty. Now this is a situation here with the Liberty where their roster may already be set. They have on their waiver watch Caitlin Davis, Leanna Odom, Esmery Martinez, and Jalen Sherrod. I think this is a situation here, as I said, where this team is already loaded. They just came off that championship run. They have a lot of good players on the team. So that situation there, their roster may pretty much be set. And the Indiana Fever, it's another situation too, where you have the loaded roster, and they have on their waiver watch Jillian Aline, Yvonne Ejim, Jalen Brown, and Michaela Timpson. And I said this after the draft. We could have a situation in Indiana where, even though I love their draft picks in Ejim, Michaela Timpson, and Bree Hall, we could have a situation here where those three are going to be fighting for one roster spot. And I really think the consensus is that Bree Hall, if there is one roster spot available for a rookie, that's probably going to go to Bree Hall, and rightfully so. I mean, I would like it too because of her style of play and the way it fits with Indiana. Now, listen, Stephanie White is one of is a coach in the W who has a reputation for not really giving rookies a whole lot of minutes. But I really do like Bree Hall making the roster there as far as Indiana is concerned. And the Connecticut Sun, which is obviously a more rookie-friendly roster, they have on their waiver watch Haley Peters, Camilla Borkowska, Kiara Darby, and Caitlin Bickle, and they've already made some roster cuts as they say goodbye to Maya Hollingshed and Morgan Molly, Zoo, and Morgan Malley. I think I already said that, but yeah. They've already made some cuts as far as that situation is concerned. And the Minnesota Lynx, now this is another team from a player standpoint and a salary cap standpoint where their roster might already be set. It was good news to me when I heard that Diamond Johnson the star out of Norfolk State got a training camp invite here. But this might be a situation with Minnesota where their roster is already set, as they have Delia Daniels, AJ Petty, Kiara Leslie, and Kristen Williams on the chopping block as far as the waivers are concerned. The Las Vegas Aces, a very interesting situation here as they said goodbye to Jordan Jenkins earlier today. And the remaining players on their waiver watch is Deja Kelly, Aaliyah Nye, and Harmony Turner. And I and listen, I kind of don't agree because I think that of those three rookies, because they have all of them going bye-bye before it's all said and done, I really think if at the very least one of them is going to make the roster. Of course, they're keeping I believe it's Kirsten Bell. Her contract is protective. A lot of fans are upset that they protected her contract, and you know what? Rightfully so. But I think of those three rookies, I can see one of them getting a roster spot. Selfishly, I would love to see Harmony Turner stick around for the roster. And really, you can make a case for either of them, Kelly, Nye, or Turner, to make the roster as far as the Las Vegas Aces are concerned. And the Atlanta Dream, they have Imani Jefferson, Taylor Theory, Maria Gotting, and Ashley Jones on their waiver watch. Now, listen, it's interesting to me because I thought I was hearing a lot of positive stuff about Taylor Theory, so I kind of found that interesting that they believe that she could be gone as far as the waivers are concerned. And the Washington Mystics, and by the way, devastating news for them earlier today as Georgia Amore suffered an ACL injury yesterday during practice, and there's no timetable for her return, and that's a pretty big blow for the Washington Mystics. I was really looking forward to seeing her play, but nevertheless, a very, very unfortunate situation for Georgia Amore and Washington. And for the waiver watch, they have JoJo Lacey, Ashton Pretchell, Zay Green, and Khadijah Cave. Now, Zay Green was another one where I thought I was hearing positive stuff from her as far as the Mystics is concerned. Now, listen, this is going to be a fairly young team. I think they're in really, really good position as far as the future is concerned and as far as getting chemistry with their young players. They're going to be a very interesting watch this season. And of course, we'll talk more about them as we go forward here over the next couple of weeks. And then the Golden State Valkyries, they have on their later waiver watch Letitia Amaya, Migna Torre, Kiara Linskins, and Julie Vanlo as far as that situation is concerned, and the Chicago Sky. And we got the news yesterday that their coach Tyler Marsh announced that he will not be making roster cuts ahead of their preseason debut coming up on Friday, which I love for Tyler Marsh because it gives you an opportunity to look at the entire roster, see what you need, and of course, see what you're working with, and single out what you need. So that's a very good job there by Tyler Marsh, and I think that should be the standard too. For WNBA rosters, it'll probably never happen, but I would wait until we actually see them in game action as far as the preseason is concerned before we see roster cuts. I mean, if you can already see it in practice, that's one thing, but at least wait till the game. That's an excellent job there from Tyler Marsh. And on their waiver watch, they have Tilly Bowler, excuse me, Sammy Puisis, Morgan Birch, and Ariella Giriantes as far as their situation is concerned. And I believe that their early pick, I think it's Astra Sivka. I believe that's who it is. I think from the looks of things, she might be staying overseas for the season. So that's a situation there as far to monitor there as far as the Chicago Sky is concerned. Baltimore's, I did not see them put one out for the Phoenix Mercury. I did a lot of looking, but I didn't see them put one out for Phoenix. So if I missed it, I apologize for that. But nevertheless, the WNBA preseason tips off on Friday. And we got some news earlier this week that all of the preseason games will be nationally televised. And we figured that would be the case after last year when the Sky took on the Lynx in the preseason and the game was not televised, and a fan had it live streamed on their phone, and it garnered over 2 million views. So you figure that that was going to be the case too as we head into this season. And of course, we get our unofficial first look at Paige Beckers in a Dallas Wings uniform as the Wings take on the Aces at Notre Dame. The thing that they're doing with the players getting their star players to their alma maters, as Arike Ogunbowale of the Wings and Jackie Young of the Aces were actually teammates for at Notre Dame from 2016 to 2019, won that championship there in 2018. So that's going to be a very good thing to see. Good to see some action. And then in the next game on Friday, Angel Reese returns to the PMAC at LSU as the Chicago Sky take on the Brazilian national team. And I am super excited for the preseason. I might come on here sometime next week to give you a little breakdown, a little feel of what I saw. But nevertheless, it's good that we are definitely getting yet another step closer to the WNBA season. And on that note, folks, it is time for today's top 5 list. Let's go. So, over the last couple of weeks or so, or last few shows, we were talking about some of the all-time great number one picks that came from UConn. Of course, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, Brianna Stewart, to name a few. And of course, Paige Beckers has a chance to join that. Of course, Paige Beckers, number one pick coming out of UConn as well. So today's top 5 list, we're going to talk about the greatest number one picks that did not come from UConn. Very interesting thing for me to garner here. And so here's what I came up with. Top 5 greatest number one picks that did not come from UConn. Number 5 from 1997 from the University of Southern California. I have Tina Thompson, 4-time WNBA champion, 9-time All-Star, 8-time All-WNBA. She's in the Hall of Fame. She's number 5 on my list. At number 4 from 2012 from the University of Stanford, I have Nneka Agwamake, former champion, former league MVP, 9-time All-Star, 7-time All-WNBA, and the All-Defensive Team. She's number 4. Now, number 3 on my, and going back to Nneka for a second before I go to number 3, Nneka's a very great player. I mean, she can retire tomorrow, and I believe she'll make the Hall of Fame. But nevertheless, that's number 3 on my list. Number 4, excuse me, on my list. At number 3, I have Asia Wilson from 2018, University of South Carolina, two-time WNBA champion. Reigning MVP, won her third award last year, put up 1,000 points and led the league in rebounds, having the what I consider to be the greatest individual season in the history of professional women's basketball. Asia Wilson's definitely going to finish her career as one of the all-time greats. She's another one who I believe can retire tomorrow and she'll walk into the Hall of Fame. But nevertheless, Asia Wilson, number 3 on my list. At number 2 on my list from 2006, I have Simone Augustus coming out of LSU, 4-time champion, finals MVP, 8-time All-Star, and 6-time All-WNBA. Definitely one of the all-time greats. She's in the Hall of Fame as well. She's number 2 and number 1 on my list. And I think you already know where I'm going. From 2008, from the University of Tennessee, I have Candace Parker. And I mean, how can you not have Candace Parker on this list? 3-time championship, and I'm going to count the Aces championship, even though she was injured for most of that season. 3-time champion, finals MVP, 2-time league MVP, won it in her rookie year and did it again in 2013. 7-time All-Star, 10-time All WNBA, and 7 times on the first team. So Tina Thompson at number 5, Nneka Agwamake number 4, Asia Wilson, number 3, Simone Augustus at number 2, and Candace Parker at number 1 for the top 5 greatest number 1 picks that did not come from UConn. All right, we got to step into the world of women's college basketball, as we've had some significant transfer portal news. The news just broke earlier today that Serah Williams, and this was expected, Serah Williams out of Wisconsin is transferring to UConn. Last season, averaging 19 points a game with 9 rebounds and 2 blocks per game. Now, listen, folks, Sarah Strong is absolutely incredible at UConn, and her and mixing Serah Williams in there, you have to argue that UConn at this very moment has the best front court in the nation as far as college basketball is concerned. And then we got another major domino falling in the portal as MiLaysia Fulwiley from out of South Carolina goes to LSU. Now, on my very first sports rundown, it was right after the South Carolina LSU game, and I said that this was the best rivalry in the sport, and this rivalry just got spicier. Now, listen, and as you would expect, South Carolina fans are not taking this news too well, and I mean, how could you if you root for the Gamecocks, as for Wiley jumped ship all the way to Baton Rouge. And apparently, I think there might have been some comments as well. I'm not for sure, but I think there might have been some comments that didn't sit well with the fans either, coming from for Wiley. But I don't really have a lot of detail on that situation. And then the other transfer from South Carolina, Sakima Walker, transferring to Cal as a graduate transfer there, as far as that situation is concerned. And I didn't get to cover this, but Medina Okot, she transferred into South Carolina too. Now, listen, if you are a South Carolina fan, if you have not done so already, I would go ahead and start making my hotel accommodations for Phoenix, because this team is definitely going to the Final Four. And I think right now, at this very moment, you can pencil this South Carolina team to cut down the nets next year. I mean, they addressed their 2 areas that they needed as far as scoring and size is concerned. And you still have Tiana Neppins, I believe that's her name, from Utah, still in the portal. But right now, this South Carolina team is going to be really, 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 really good. And I don't think they're going to miss MiLaysia Fulwiley as far as that is concerned. And then we got some news earlier this week that Dawn Staley is going to receive a statue from the city of Columbia. That's a Now listen, what Dawn Staley has done not just with this South Carolina program, but for the sport as a whole is absolutely phenomenal. Remember, this is the same Dawn Staley who played in the WNBA in the summer and then coached at Temple in the fall. And then when she went to South Carolina, when she first got to South Carolina, I heard that she went to local restaurants and passing out tickets and virtually begging people to come to games. But what Dawn Staley has done with this team, and of course making them one of the powerhouses in women's college basketball, having 1 million draft picks in the WNBA is absolutely phenomenal. Incredible job by Staley, very well deserved as far as that situation is concerned. All right, one more thing that I'm excited about too from a women's basketball standpoint. Last year, ESPN did a documentary, Full Court Press, where they covered Caitlin Clark, Camila Cardoso, and Kiki Rice for a season last year. And ESPN is coming back with season 2 of that. And this year they're going to be highlighting Flau'jae Johnson, Kiki Iriafen, and Hannah Hidalgo. And I can't say enough how excited I am to see that. We need to see some more WNBA and college basketball documentaries because I feel like there's really not enough of them. So that's a good job there from ESPN as far as that standpoint is concerned. They're gonna premiere the first 2 episodes on this Saturday, and I believe on next Saturday they're going to post the next 2. There's only 4 episodes, I believe. So they're going to do 2 this Saturday and then 2 next Saturday. I'm definitely excited to see that and to see these young players. And I'm definitely excited for women's basketball as the WNBA season is just less than 2 weeks away. This fly in this office is getting on my nerves, but nevertheless, that does not dampen my excitement for the WNBA. Well, folks, that is going to do it for the women's basketball rundown. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell to be notified of when I post again. And also follow me on Twitter and on Bluesky at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports. And I will see y'all the next time. Enjoy the preseason. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.